Ever wonder if what it would be like if you had a new life, or if next life would be in the future and all that stuff, or maybe your reincarnations and all that stuff. So, or even like when you're gonna die. Some people are very scared of that. Actually, not some people, a lot of people. Anyways, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Jose. I like to coin myself as a micro astrologer. So I do things that have a lot to do with, yes, astrology, but specifically with the use of asteroids. I don't like to complicate them with asteroids here because there's a little bit too much detail. But I've done my own research with over 150 asteroids, like literally, like through the mythology, the astronomy behind them, medical astrology behind them, the significant words or keywords that are used for them for interpretation, both figuratively and literally. Mundane astrology is also included there, vocational and also evolutionary. So the point is, sorry, sniffle, sniffle. Um, um, okay, so anyways, there's one thing that in astrology that we should never, ever, 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 ever predict, and that is your death date. Not just death date, but other things like maybe future stuff. Predictive astrology can be kind of tricky, but at the same time, if you look at it from a curious perspective, you have learned to deal with a lot of the healing, a lot of your past wounding, especially with thanatophobia or necrophobia, anything that scares, any type of phobia you have regarding fear, regarding death itself or illness and all that stuff. It can be, it's not, it can be, but it also is very traumatic. I can understand because I've gone through that myself. I still go through it, but yeah. So not to belittle the whole thing, but when it comes to these things, it's very sensitive, right? You don't ever want to talk about these things, but at the same time, it's also good to face it. Um, so, astrologically speaking, though, we never predict anything like that. We don't ever, um, you shouldn't, because the thing is, it's not certain. And reason for that is because of, for those who are not aware yet, like the what do you call this? The theory behind quantum physics that there are multiverses. So every choice you make has a specific outcome. You're a different person every second of the moment. That's why the moment now is what matters, not what happened in the future, not what happened in the past. So that means that even if you were to predict a death date, um, you can go many ways, right? How do I know this? Well, first of all, astrologically speaking, at least astrologically speaking, the math is there for me at least. Where, well, I wouldn't say the math, but like for example, if when it comes to like the interpretation of, let's say, just like the I don't know, like a sign or the sun or the connections between the planets. So for example, I'll give you a right here. So let's go back to our chart right here. And so my chart, okay, so July 6th today, 2025. Um, let's say I do uh, progression charts or something like, or transit. Let's go with transits. Okay. So let's say I see, okay, so you see the birth chart in between, right? So usually what happens in the birth chart is that you interpret the energies, or rather the meanings behind the planets, their connections, the aspects rather, and what they mean for someone. So for example, with my Mars in Sagittarius, it flows like, people, I tend to come off as very, when I was younger, I tended to come off as very like, active. It's very, I wouldn't say active per se, but like there's I enjoyed moving. I enjoyed kind of having fun. You see how my ascendant is trine right here. There's a trine aspect. For those who don't know what that is a natural flowing aspect. It means that it goes, boop, it's exactly what it is. Um, Mars in Sagittarius implies that it's something to do with traveling, traveling a lot to do with moving, traveling, uh, having a specific type of philosophy, which I did a lot. But also, anger can be kind of come out of that, but there's like the assertion, the energy that I put is towards moving, activity, sports, languages, philosophy, learning itself as well, higher learning specifically. Um, but then that continued on throughout my life. Even today, it does happen where it comes off as like, oh, he's the language guy, people say, right? He's very wise and so philosophical. That's exactly what they see. It's the Mars in there, right? So what happens is that with all the descriptions there, even with the possibilities of what that is, if you let's say if you predict what based on just the birth chart, and you go into the fifth house and you say, "Oh, you're going to be with the way you deal with children is that you're very assertive with them. You deal with a lot of foreign children or stuff like that, or you will be traveling a lot." That could have been a possibility because it is the first tied to the first house, the ascendant, and the ascendant, or rather the first house itself, is about endeavors. But I didn't really travel a lot, a lot. So Mars is said to be the planet where we invest most of our energy in, right? But if you look at, even if you look at the aspect from Mars to Moon, it's in Aquarius. So it has to be very different, unique, special, um, very out there, very sort of humanitarian, very eccentric, I guess. That's kind of slightly negative, but you know what I mean? So it's the Aquarian energy and it's in the eighth house. So I have that thing about the Scorpio feel to that. But the Mars here is has that Leo feel to it. So I didn't actually always travel. So you see what I mean? So what I'm saying here is that when it comes to the huge number of descriptions, you can see the possibilities of things like that happen. I did travel, but I didn't travel that much. Even without the interpretation of the moon in there, even by itself, with the Mars itself, there could still be, like, for example, people might say, oh, you probably work well with children that are athletic. Or if you had children, it would be they would be athletic. We don't know that. I don't have children. See? And probably people would be wondering, is like, oh, maybe because you had issues with your mother. Yes, that's true. But that doesn't just signify that I don't have children because of that, right? And even if I did have children, would it be through the foreign children? Would I adopt foreign kids? Would it be in a foreign country? So there's so many venues you can go into. You can go like this. You can go here, 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 here. Um, there's many other things too. Like, would it be like if you look at it from mundane to natal, would it be in certain places where it's kind of athletic or hot? Would it be in places like Sweden, Norway, or Sweden, or no, Finland, for example? Would it be there? Like it's tied to Sagittarius. I believe it's tied to Sagittarius because their sun, Finland, the sun sign of Finland is in Sagittarius. So either way, it could be in places where Sagittarian feels good. Where there be places like in Mongolia where they have this culture of horses, or anywhere where there's a lot of horses. So are their children horses? Are your children actually horses? Do you see them as children? Do you see them as horses? Sort of those things. Um, a lot of can be said that are true, but these are based on the choices that I make. So the point is, same thing with the death date. Even if we were to look at, let's say, this is where it gets a little tricky, right? They say that if Saturn is in a specific hard aspect means like a opposition, a square, 90 degrees. Opposition to 180 degrees, square is 90 degrees, and then conjunction, which is 0 degrees. So that means depending on the planet, it depends. The personal planets have larger orbs, meaning the difference between this and that. So again, if let's say we look at my Mercury Uranus right here, that's 19 to 24 is 5 degree difference. That's the orb. Okay. So that's okay because it's still orb. Sometimes with the personal planet versus the outer planet right here, Mercury is a personal planet, Uranus is an outer planet. You get the point. Okay. The orb can't be too much compared to, let's say, the sun or the moon. The reason because it's It's just more personal when it's the sun. It's your identity. The moon is also kind of your identity. It's your inner self. So they're bigger orbs. It depends on the person. It depends on the location. But either way, there's still energy there. The point is, let's not worry about that. So what I was trying to say is that when it comes to um, Saturn, if it's transiting and it's kind of in a hard aspect to your personal planets, typically like the sun or the moon, probably even the ascendant, because it is the body, tied to the first house, which is the body. I'm not sure about the ascendant though. Um, Depends. It can be tricky, right? The Saturn signifies like endings, limitations. So that can be like that too. But I've seen many times where Saturn was not, I didn't die on that day. I'll give you an example. So Saturn right here, look at this. So Saturn right here, right, is transiting it's in Aries right now. It's conjunct Neptune right now. It's in the 2 degree mark, or is it about 3 degrees now? 2 degrees, right? So if you were to conjunct my moon, let's say 27 degrees, when was Saturn in moon? So I would say that would go back all the way to, let's go open the ephemeris, okay? There you go. Okay. So let's say more like conjunct my sun, which is probably closer. So let's go back to close to when I was born, right here, right? So let's say, 1 second here. Sorry. Okay. So let's say I was 1985. And let's look at Saturn right here. Right here. You see that? Okay. So Saturn right here shows already that it was in 24 degrees Scorpio. So that means it's not 1985, but rather earlier than that. So let's say 1983. We want to be closer to Libra. Okay, so it's 2 degrees right here, right away. I can tell that it's 2 degrees. Sorry, 2 degrees, 54 minutes in Scorpio. So that means it cannot be 1983, but let's say 1982. Closer to the date of, probably closer to where it was. Okay, right there. So Saturn, 21 degrees in January. And let's go back to the chart here. Right, so sun is 26 degrees. So we want to go into closer to 26 degrees Libra. So 22, right there. We're following Saturn. Okay, 22, 20, 21. It was retrograde for a bit there. 2019, so it was retrograding. It was pulling back, right? 16. So now it's going back. It went direct. When did it go direct? Anyways, it went starting to going direct. So go back, going back, going back, going back, going back. Okay. So now we wanted to go to 26. So 26 degrees, 2 minutes on Tuesday, 26th of, what month is this? October, just after my mom's birthday, actually. Let's take a look at the transit. So let's say 26th of October, which is had two there, 1983, 1982, sorry. Look at the transits right here. Look, Saturn was right there. Saturn, this where you probably think this is Saturn right here. This is Saturn right here. He was literally perfect in perfect conjunction to my sun. Did I die in 1982? No. However, there was something to do with something happened there. I think it was I went to the hospital and they had to fix my cleft lip palate, the split in my lip or something like that. They say I had a heart murmur. And so I went to the doctor. So technically, had they not done anything, my parents, um, something could have happened, but I did die that day. So you see what I mean? So that's an example. I'd have to ask them again what Let me ask them actually. Let me see if I can do this. Let me just put you on hold. I want to ask from them. Hi, Mom. Hi, I had a quick hi. You're on your way. I'm gonna greet you. But well, I have a question before you get here. What happened in 1982 for me? You can't hear me? What happened in 1982? Yeah, do you remember? Was that when when you got me to the hospital with the heart murmur? Yeah, no, because I had a heart murmur. Do you remember? Was that when I heart, heart murmur? Yes. No, that's what you said. I had a heart murmur. I had a hole in my heart, remember? No. Yes, you told me that. That wasn't that's 1982. That was in the Philippines. Eh, exactly. What was I in the hospital for? There was a picture there. Oh, okay. 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 No, I didn't. No, you told me. Okay. No, because I have no, no, because I already have those. I feel stuff in the heart too. It's so yeah. Well, I remember what I remember. So okay, I'll see you there. I'll see you there. I'll see you inside. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye. All right, so where was I? Okay, so I have to change headsets. Thank you very much. Okay, so I was just talking to my parents. So they said that there was no heart murmur, but um I don't know. My parents are forgetful, so they don't, yeah. But it could have also been something else. Either way, the point is that, sorry, a little bit triggering because it's like my parents don't remember things and they think that they didn't say these things. But same with my family, but I remember things. So, but there is something there. Um, so there's something to do with the club. Oh, okay, get it. So it could have. So so maybe they, in a way, even if they don't remember, the point is that what happened was Saturn was transiting, right? But technically, that could have been like a death thing. But the thing is, it wasn't. What happened was actually they said I had a cleft lip palate thing, but then it was something to do with the suckling. They just had told me on the phone. So it was something to do with the teeth, right? So that is still Saturn. Saturn rules the teeth, bones, knees, and more than that, right? So, anyways, so it became a medical thing. I'm sure there's other things too, because I don't. I also have Ceres here. It would have been square. Saturn would have been square Ceres, Kernos, Hathor, bunch of things, right? So the point is, I did not die. Okay. So there's an example. It's a perfect example of like how Saturn can be like, oh, why is it conjunct, right? Even if I were to look at Saturn and when Saturn was in, let me just here, let's say, uh, when was Saturn in the late degrees of Capricorn? I think it was just a few years ago, actually. This was like a few years ago. This was, let's go to this one here, 21st century. Okay. Let's go to during the pandemic. Let's say 2021. So let's look at Saturn. Okay. Saturn was in Aquarius already. Okay. Right here. Right? Right here. See that? 21 degrees Capricorn, go 26, right? So when it hit 26, 4 minutes, 26, 20, the 10th of, right here, the 10th of February, that was when I started feeling deathly scared, which is interesting because that's when I started to, I quit swimming. I didn't quit swimming completely, but it was like I was starting to wean myself off of it, right? So when was this? February, right? So let's look at the transits for that one. Look at that. So 26 right here. So 26 degrees. Well, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, right here, 26 degrees. Right here. Saturn. It's actually square my sun. So that means I was very scared for myself. It was health related stuff. It's in the sixth house, but it's tied to seventh house. So that means I restricted myself, literally isolated myself from people as well. And this is what happened. Um, and this was during the pandemic. So again, not to say that I could have died, but I was so restrictive of things. I was so very protective of myself. With the Pluto there as well, with Ceres also opposite of Ceres, that means I had to protect myself. I had to keep myself secure. And I had to do anything I could to really like. It was very, 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 very extreme because Pluto is there too. Like, Pluto is very extreme, so I had to do everything. I had to literally do everything. I was like cleaning things. I was spraying the air. I was spraying surfaces, literally like strong bleach solution to the so much to the point where I basically like rusted metals. Things started falling apart, like things, and I didn't really care because I was like, nope, me, I'm important. My life is important. I don't give a fuck about what other does things. I'm going to do this my way, right? I had prepared everything. Literally, I cleansed myself. It took me like 2 hours to clean groceries, do everything. So extreme that it literally I didn't see people for like years. So about 2 years. But then I started to wean that off because I was getting this message that is like, I was Archangel Michael came in and he was just like he gave me this and that, just brave it. It's fine, you're fine. So yeah, so this is where we are now. So there you go. So there's an example of how you never know. Death dates, even if you're doing prediction charts, um, it's there's no guarantee because it's just there's but as Pam Gregory puts it, she says astrology is a language of probability. Okay, astrology is a language of probability, just like it is that they say in quantum physics. Anyways, I know that was quite long. I knew I had made a call because I wanted to confirm with them because it's like, oh, okay, cool. You didn't hear the call, I know, but that's what it was. They said that it's like a cleft lip palate thing. But anyways, I hope that was informative. Hopefully a bit insightful. If you have any comments and you're curious about also the asteroids, let me know. I did say in previous videos that I'm hoping to open up a circle that you can practice right away. Let me know in the comments below if you're interested. I won't open a circle and tell anyone if I don't get real interest in it, I won't open a circle for that. Wait, so there, there might be a subscription for that too. So let's see how that goes. But just giving you a heads up, it'll be fun. I'll share with you my cheat sheets, how to work with it, keep it simple. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to do anything. You just have to right away apply it, and I'll support you. Okay, I'll guide you. I'll coach you into the whole process. So very easy. I'm still learning myself, by the way. So there's no such thing as perfect. Fuck perfect. Fuck perfect. Fuck perfect. Okay, so this isn't about any of that stuff. You're supposed to just have fun. Just go with the flow. Anyways, see you guys later. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, again, comments down below. Um, whatever it is, connect with me. I'd love to hear your feedback. But in any case, like and subscribe. I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.